Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live. Talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynncullenshow@gmail.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Yep. I heard my name. Hello there. How you doing? May 9. It's Tuesday, and Susan's here. Hi.
Hi. You said that with such certainty.
I know I did. I did because I knew you were there. So I have to begin with something, with a column that I read. I don't know if you've read it, Susan, that just, I mean, it's nothing that we don't, well, no, it's something that I didn't quite know. It's by Michelle Goldberg in today's New York Times, and she takes off. Okay, she takes off from Jeffrey Toobin's new book about the Oklahoma City bombing.
Oh, yeah, I did see the headline, and I just ran screaming.
Yeah, Timothy McVeigh. The headline Susan ran from is Timothy McVeigh's dreams are coming true. Well, here's the thing, because this takes us to the thing we can't comprehend about the gun fetish that has overtaken so many in this country. And she points out that it was Timothy McVeigh who, you know, when it comes to mass murder, this guy
was a real pro, right?
Killed 168 men, women, and children.
Lots of little kids.
In that bombing. But here's what we might not remember about him. Timothy McVeigh, the number one thing to him, the number one issue above all others, guns. He felt guns were synonymous with freedom. And any government attempt to regulate them in any way was the beginning of tyranny. Now, that's something that, like, I would say is now a point of view echoed by what? The majority of Republicans. Right? So we go I
guess so, because, enough Republicans that hold office that we can't do a damn thing about saving our kids' lives in this pro-child nation.
Well, because you can't, because they do believe that you have to you cannot regulate guns. It is the beginning of the tyranny of government. And so the Republican Party now fetishizes guns every bit as much as Timothy McVeigh did. And insurrection, also, January 6th. It's all part and parcel. And if you look at who is behind the kind of carnage we're seeing, it usually is people who hold that same view. So Republicans' reaction to after things like, mass shootings, is to double down. It is to double down because they're not being honest about what's really happening. They've bought into Timothy McVeigh's idea that freedom equals my gun. It's unbelievable.
Well, what's unbelievable is how willing these people are to sacrifice of everybody else's people.
Well, there's no reason why it won't happen to them. I don't know why they think they're immune.
I don't either.
Michelle Goldberg says, I heard somebody say the other day, well, it'll have to happen to one of them. It's like when you saw Republicans start peeling away and becoming, acknowledging that gay people were human or something. It's because one of their children.
They finally knew one. Right.
Right, exactly. So, so what? We got I don't know. I mean, oh, shit. So here is Goldberg's, I want to just put this out there because it is true. She says it's hard to think of a historical precedent for a society allowing itself to be terrorized in the way we have. You look around through history and she's trying to find what is something like this that has happened before. She says you can't find anything where
it's like where the whole country is being held hostage.
Yep.
I mean that's exactly what is happening to us, folks. We are being held hostage.
That's right.
As they shoot our children one by one. I mean, you tell me this isn't an exact hostage situation.
She says the normalization of both right-wing terrorism and periodic daily mass shootings by deranged loners is possible only because Timothy McVeigh's views are now mainstream. And they're held dear by one of the two major parties, the Republican Party. 30 years since the Oklahoma City bombing, this country has embraced Timothy McVeigh's values.
Well, we were making it's that way about everything. Everything's gone back to the time of Timothy McVeigh and normalized the views that were held then. You roll back all of the gains that we've made in racial justice, in women's justice, in women. Just roll it all back because they've taken it back. They've taken it away.
Well, so that's where we at.
Well, that's why, you see, it makes me so angry that my grandchildren are growing up in a country where they are traumatized by the public school system in order to protect them. I don't know where we go, why do we have a whole nation of children in mental crisis? Because we're traumatizing our own children. That's why, because for some reason we don't have a backbone enough to stand up and stop these people from killing our children. I don't know why. I don't know what it is that is keeping us from organizing ourselves and standing up with one big roar and saying, oh, no, you don't.
Well, lest somebody suggests that we are only focusing on the negative, it is true that yesterday a committee in the Texas House of Representatives actually passed, sent out to the floor a bill that would raise the age of being able to get an AR-style weapon from 18 to 21. It was done because two Republicans who have never voted for such a thing joined six Democrats. Now, everybody's saying, wow, see, that's how you do it. We got two Republicans peeled off there. But here's the reality. I mean, yes, that is how you do it.
And that's how you get a bill out of committee. Tell me you get that bill passed.
Yes, we'll see even if it gets out and passes the House, people say there's no way it gets out of the Senate in Texas. But maybe there's a crack or two happening here. The other thing we want to point out is this. It's not just the gun fetish. It's as Susan alluded, it's all the other things, the progress we have made that these same people are pushing back on. And lest we think, again, that this is not to be put at the feet of Republicans. And Donald Trump and their Proud Boys loving base, the Trump Hotel in Miami is having hosting a conference that's actually been on the road. This has been a circus show that's been making the rounds around the country. And it is a cavalcade of anti-Semites, racists, homophobes, the president's son, Eric Trump, his lovely wife, Michael Flynn, Peter Navarro, and a guy named Scott McKay, who is he's a biggie. Can I just share with you some of what Scott McVeigh has said?
Yes, you may.
Okay, he says that the Jews orchestrated 9/11. The Jews were responsible for the assassination of Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy, and that Jews routinely torture children and eat their hearts. This is who Trump's former national security advisor, his economic, whatever Navarro was, they're on stage with people peddling this. Viruses, Jew-made. This is Eric Trump, Laura Trump, economic advisor, Peter Navarro, Michael Flynn. He was the national security advisor to the President of the United States, Department of Defense official Kash Patel, former acting Attorney General Matt Whitaker, Devin Nunes, Roger Stone. This is the clown car that's been going through the country. And I guess their next stop is Miami, which I guess drew more attention just because it was this is where we are. The fascists, the crazies, the haters are out front and center, and they are, leading members of the former administration, the leader of whom is likely to be running again for the presidency. Is running, but will be the nominee in all likelihood, despite the fact that he will twice impeached, under indictment in how many venues. He'll be convicted by the time he runs in some of these venues. Anyone who thinks this country's in good shape would be absolutely insane. We're in big trouble. So I'm just saying.
Well, I'm sending thoughts and prayers to the jury in New York that's deliberating.
I don't think they need them.
I'm upset they're still thinking.
No, wait a minute. So they are deliberating already?
Oh, yeah, they're deliberating.
Well, if they're still deliberating by the end of the day, I'll be surprised.
Yeah, you have to. It takes a certain amount of time just to read through the charges. You have to look like you're thinking about it.
Well, you do.
Yes,
you do.
You have to take the process seriously. Yes.
But if she doesn't win that, I'll be dumbfounded.
Well, I'm good for her. This was, anybody that thinks that it's easy being the woman in this situation, even all those years later, yeah. It's just, I'm thankful to her. I'm proud of her. She did a really, really, really good job in a really difficult situation. I'm proud of the other women that stood by her. Yep.
All in all, it really appeared.
And they got called old and ugly. You think of every single thing that they could say to show how this country treats women. is how the defense treated those women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Well, here's the reality, though, right? So even if they come back and he's found guilty, he just appeals.
Yeah, but you actually, an appeal is not an automatic thing. You have to have actual.
It's also not an exoneration. I mean, he still will be a conviction.
It just means that you.
In court.
Yeah, you get another trial if it gets remanded, or it gets upheld. But first, there have to be actual grounds. And it's very hard to find grounds when the defendant didn't even show his face.
That is true. He didn't appear, and they really had no case other than the case was she's lying. That was their case.
Right. So the only grounds that I can think of is for Trump to go to incompetent counsel. And that won't fly either.
No. Wow.
So I don't think an appeal is an automatic.
Well,
I'm just saying an appeal is not automatic.
No. Okay, but it also depends on what judge gets it, right? Since
they're in New York. Yeah.
Well, you don't know because, as we know, Trump and Mitch McConnell spent a lot of time. They didn't do much, but what they did was pack the federal judiciary.
Yeah. Well, right. But the judiciary tends to reflect the community in which it sits. And that's just the way it is. Because usually they're picked from among the people, so they're usually a reflection of the community. I think it's interesting that New York is the first state to say that you can't put gas stoves in new builds. People aren't going to like that.
No, they're not going to like it.
Here's the thing: when everybody liked gas and was told that gas is the way to go and gas is the way to cook, there really wasn't a good alternative. The reason people like gas is because it's so easy to control the temperature.
Right. That's right.
Also, it's on when the power's off, but that's a secondary reason. But now there is a good alternative to gas that does not leak, and that is more, ecologically sound. So I don't know why we wouldn't want to do it.
Well, it doesn't matter, Susan. You're again, talking in like rationally. It's immediately become, one of those issues that where you stand on it says who you are.
Yeah, but look at all building codes. How dare you tell me that my building doesn't meet that I have to make my building ADA accessible? How dare you? How dare you tell me I have to have sprinklers? I mean, in Chicago, all new builds are going to require, at least having the ability to charge a electric vehicle on, there. The only way things change, that's one of the government regulation changes culture all the time. And I'm just pointing out the gas stove stuff just started. It's a shishi gas, class thing. We all had electric. Then, the rich people got gas. And then, because it works better. Well, induction now works better than gas, frankly. So change your pots off and be good to the economy. It's really not all that Libby an issue. It's just a culture change.
Okay. Can I just get a question in here?
Sure.
Why are you leaving off the ing on build? You twice said on builds.
Oh, well, that's some kind of the lingo. Yes, a new build.
Okay, but
is the current lingo for new construction.
But it's not what people say. I just want to say, when you said new builds, it's like, what the fuck? I mean, it's buildings, you mean?
Yeah, new construction. New construction.
Builds. But what?
I do not think that is as strange a word to most people as it seems to be to you.
No,
really,
this is not what any of us would say. I'm just saying.
Okay.
We would not say that. I would not say that. I'm asking the audience. Would you say that? You would have the ing on it. New buildings. I understood what you were saying. It took me, for 1 millisecond, but it annoyed me because it's like corporate speak.
Yeah, it is.
That's what
it's in the biz speak. Yes. And I agree with you. I listen to all these people frequently rattling off. It's usually when it's 4-letter, initials of things. And I'm at the point where I don't know what that stuff means anymore, or ever, if I ever did. So sorry.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to, because I figure I was not alone in reacting. That's why I did it because, I think
you were trying to translate for your sister. I
no,
understand.
but they all figured it out too. But it's like the question was, why are you saying build instead of buildings? But there it is. Okay, we got to get to this unpleasant story about that Washington Post ABC News poll.
Oh God, that's another thing. I woke up very early this morning. I started reading the papers, and I just said, screw this, and I went to puzzles. It was just too awful. That poll, I couldn't look at it.
The poll says that it right now shows Biden losing to Trump, Biden losing to DeSantis, Biden losing to Mickey Mouse. Now, here's what I want to say, and here's the fact is, here's a fact. Only 2 of the past 13 presidents. Could we name those 13 presidents? 13. Could we go back? Only 2 of the past 13 presidents. I mean, we could. How far back does that go? Maybe to
4 times 13 is 52.
Well,
but you're going to tell me that not only 4 of them repeated. So add another 16.
No. That's not what I'm going to tell you. It has to do with approval ratings. 2 of the past 13 presidents had approval ratings lower than Biden has at this point, and his approval rating is low.
Well, yeah, I have to...
Wait. They were Jimmy Carter and Donald Trump that had lower approval ratings at the exact same point in their presidencies. Jimmy Carter and Donald Trump. And as we know,
they both
lost. However, here's the good news. Ronald Reagan, his approval rating at this point in his first term was just 0.1 of a point above where Biden is now. And he won a landslide re-election. So all of this is to say it's too friggin' early. And everybody is focusing. To be tainted.
Yeah,
everybody. Was not likely voters. It was just a bunch of people, who knows what. Why they do that, I don't know. And here's a pollster for Obama who said, the poll is trash. And I don't say that lightly. It's trash.
I don't, I did it. So much depends on how they ask the question. And I mean, I would come out looking like I wasn't going to vote for Biden in half these things. Are you, unless I just totally said, no, his age does not concern me. No, I think he's just as sharp as a tack. Anyway, the real question is, would I vote? Am I going to vote for the Democratic candidate? And the answer is yes.
Yeah.
They don't make that. Yeah. They don't ask it that clearly.
Well, No, but astonishingly, the poll also showed that people think Trump is more physically and mentally fit.
Well, they're idiots. They're just idiots. Well, I'm sorry. They're just, first of all, he's only 4 years younger, and he's in worse health. It's not like he's some young man. And any issue that you have with Biden, you should realistically have with Trump.
Then some.
And then some. They're both old men. Now you compare them side by side. Biden wins.
Ellen writes, just back to gas stoves. Just a side point, but my husband and I, who both love to cook, we're thinking about getting a single burner induction unit to try it out. We have a gas stove now. But we found that I would not be able to use it because I have a pacemaker, as do you. It's the magnets in the induction that prohibit people with pacemakers.
Yes, that's right. Okay.
You know what? Wait a minute, though. I looked this up, and there are people who say, I don't know about you, but the magnet, if you have a pacemaker, you can't have a magnet within, 6 inches of it? When I'm at the stove, I don't know that.
You can work a stove and stay without even stirring and be more than 6 inches away.
I'm wondering if I could put on, if there's a lead apron shield I could wear while cooking on my induction.
That's a good idea. And if there isn't, it's a good invention.
There you go. And I have to tell you, I forget about that magnet thing all the time. And
you're still ticking, right?
And I'm still ticking. So God knows what I've done. Though the only thing I had to get rid of the iPad Susan had given me, because that I did always hold almost right on it. And it has magnets. But I don't even think about that. I suppose I should. There's magnets all over the place.
Yeah. But that's a good idea. That's a good invention. A thin lining, less heavy, in a just apron. That would slip over your head and tie around your waist.
Does lead provide a barrier from the?
I have no idea. No, it has to be a material that would block the magnetic force. There's got to be something that would interfere with it. Maybe it might just be a clear, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not an engineer, but there's got to be something.
Well, if there was such a thing, then I can get my iPad back.
Well, let's get rich, Lynn. Let's figure it out. Or unless someone out there is looking for something to go on Shark Tank with, go for it.
Yeah, but we are ahead of the curve, because it's not like everybody's got an induction stove, but it's coming.
Right, and it is a pain because you do have to throw away, all your treasured old pots and pans that people, I don't know, sometimes get attached to and get all new stuff. But boy, if you want to boil water in 2 seconds flat, induction's the way to go.
It's interesting. What did induction, the word, used to conjure?
Going into the military?
Military, that's right. So there's a word that is heading into getting, into.
Yeah, now it's cooking not with gas.
Way.
Right. We're going to have to change the whole lexicon. It won't be now you're cooking with gas.
Nope. So, okay. Let me see what else I got here. Oh, yeah, I love this. It seems to me, I thought I'd read this before, but then I realized, no, it was a different Republican legislator, I think somewhere like Mississippi or something. And it's almost like mass shootings. Every few minutes, it seems some Republican legislator somewhere who's totally right wing has to resign. because he's been found, doing the very things that he's been
legislating against.
Yeah. So here he goes, Texas State. There he goes, Texas State Representative Brian Slayton. He's oh man, get him on drag. Oh, he went berserk on drag performers. He called. He thinks we're all groomers. We're all sexualizing children. We're one step away from killing them and eating their hearts. Well, I guess you have to be a Jew to get into that.
Yeah. Stay off of our territory. Yeah.
That's right. We get the kids' hearts. He resigned yesterday. After it was found that he had engaged in a sexual relationship with his 19-year-old intern, plying her with alcohol and demanding her silence. Now, there was a guy in Tennessee who just had to go for the same reason. They hire these young girls,
and they think they're being served to them on a platter.
Yeah. So
it's like, ugh.
It's really wow, incredible.
Well, but as Trump said in his defense, well, men like me have been doing this for a million years. You're just allowed to do it. He said, fortunately. He said fortunately or unfortunately.
Well, he realized he better put the or unfortunately, but he thinks fortunately. Yeah. And in fact, that's the case. Unfortunately. Okay, so what else I got here for you? Suze, this is if you want to get upset because
great.
My connection is not private. Well, why does that happen all the time? This is an article that I cannot access at the moment from New York Magazine about how the Republicans why they're focusing on education, why they're meddling in schools so much. And I mean, I have ideas. They really do think that their children are being indoctrinated in the schools. Indoctrinated to hate their country, to think it's okay for their friend to have two moms or two dads. They're being indoctrinated, and they want it stopped, and they're intending to stop it. Now, if you remember, they also are the guys who worked from the ground up. So they control a lot of school boards, even in areas that are not necessarily as conservative as they. So the book banning, all of that has a purpose. The purpose being to take over education and indoctrinate the children in a different way.
Right. I mean, the fact that they complain about indoctrinating is just a joke because what they're saying is we want to do the indoctrinating. And the part that upsets me about all of these people going to the school boards, which they didn't know existed before and they've never voted in prior, is that they act as if they have not somehow been welcome into the classroom anytime they wanted to be there positively. So any parent that wants to see what's going on need only volunteer. And if they need to witness this indoctrination, well, go ahead and volunteer. Be helpful in the classroom. See for yourself what really goes on. And if your definition of acceptance of people different than your child, then that's not indoctrination. That's public education.
Republicans, over the past 3 years, in 28 states have passed more than 70 bills controlling what teachers and students can say and do.
I can't imagine wanting to be a teacher. I mean, if we want to make, if we want to make sure that the quality of the people that go into the profession that teach our children is high, let me say we're doing a really good job. We're subjecting them to gunfire from 6-year-olds and on the inside and anybody on the outside. We're suggesting they arm themselves, and then we're also telling them to zip their mouth because we'll come after them ourselves if they say something we don't like. Oh, I'd like to be a teacher. Can I?
Really?
Not to mention they have to put up with your little darlings.
That's right. Here's some of the Republican verbiage now. Senator Marco Rubio. He's called schools a cesspool of Marxist indoctrination. Yeah, that about typifies, I know. My public school, a cesspool of Marxist indoctrination. Mike Pompeo says that teachers' unions and the filth that they're teaching our kids will take this republic down. Donald Trump, pink-haired commies teaching our kids, Marxist maniacs and lunatics running our universities. They, as you know, one of the things Republicans do, though, is they act. They organize and they act.
Yeah, they send the mobs out after you. They sure do.
You remember when W said, "Rarely is the question asked, is our children learning?"
I misremembered that. I can't remember what was it.
I don't. Is our children learning? Rarely is the question asked. He did say that. It's hard to believe he said that because even he knew that wasn't right. I don't know why he said that. I don't know. But to answer the question, the Republicans now think, yes, your children are learning all too well. They're being brainwashed by leftists. And this is, I have to tell you that this article is, if you want to get even more freaked, it's by Jonathan Chait, and it's New York Magazine. And it's called Indoctrination Nation. So they want to take control of the classroom, especially they see the demographics too. They know that it's why they're trying to keep young people from voting because they've all been indoctrinated into being Marxist lefties or something.
Any young person that listens to this and doesn't resolve that come hell or high water, they're going to vote. And I don't care how, just get out there and vote because they don't actually care how. They just see you as youth as the enemy. So, vote. I mean, maybe the saving is the youth vote. Go ahead.
You can't believe
it's your
this.
show.
Republican legislatures in Florida, Iowa, Mississippi have introduced bills to put microphones and cameras or even live stream classrooms.
Well, one of the reasons that our brother decided that this was finally the right time to retire is because that is how, for other reasons, the university was going. That they were recording all of his lectures. And he really, for all sorts of reasons, did not want that. You know, and the more we continue down this path, the more I understand why he didn't want his words recorded.
Well, if you're not saying anything that is,
well, you might not be saying anything that today means anything to anyone, but somebody listening to it in 10 minutes might decide that you are, from hell and send the mob after you. There's all sorts of just regular people who are being mobbed and threatened.
Yep.
Just regular people. Their names literally get picked out of a hat. And they make up something awful about them and send the mob after them.
One of the things...
so I'm just saying that you are losing. It's having a chilling effect.
Well, yeah. And the reality is that we do know that the person that these Republicans now hold in such esteem, the Viktor Orban in Hungary, a neo-fascist, a nationalist, a bigot. When he came to power, he immediately went after the universities as the primary institutional source of opposition to him. And he did it so quickly, people's heads spun. I mean,
right. They didn't have time to know what was happening. Right.
He placed state universities under the control of people he handpicked. By the way, are you aware that DeSantis in Florida has done the same with one of the public universities there? With
this beautiful little school in Sarasota right.
So this is, and it's a playbook. And I've always said, it seems to me that in order for Republicans, we do know this, the less educated you are, the more likely you are voting for Republicans. So if you're a Republican looking to win, what do you want? You want people to be less educated. And Orban knew it. His long-term, since educated people didn't vote for him, his long-term plan for staying in power was to create fewer educated people. It's all of a piece. Hey, look at this. Milton, you're great. Milton says, he sent me a picture of an apron that claims to protect against both magnetic and 5G energy fields.
See, someone thought about it already. Does it come with a matching hat made out of tinfoil?
No, but it's very nice. It's very nice. It is machine washable. Once you have to take the magnetic shielding off, but it's machine washable and it's made in Canada, and it's an excellent shield against induction stoves, microwaves, or any appliances emitting strong magnetic fields. It's lined with a magnetic shielding film.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no.
See, I knew there had to be something. Okay. Well, that's nice. Get one, and now I've got something that I can get you for your next birthday. Yeah.
So, and I'll send this on to Ellen. Who said they were going to do it, but then they worried about.
Well, then let me say to Ellen that I don't know. You have to make sure that you get a good single induction burner. Some of them are not as powerful as necessarily the stove itself is. So
you're saying it might not be a fair.
It might not be fair.
Trial.
Although my son does have a couple to take outside when he grills, or if he needs even yet another burner. So. Yeah.
Josh writes, speaking of is our children learning, remember these? When wings take dream. No, I don't remember. Listen, but I'm the person who said gab smock.
Gab smocking.
Yeah. And he also said there are too many OBGYNs that can't practice their love. What? What is... What, I mean, I don't even understand what the hell was that. I mean, the others, I can figure what it was he was trying to say, but that one? Oh, God. God in heaven. Okay. So, I'm looking at what I have available here for our last 14 minutes of the program, and I'm trying to avoid something too horrific.
Yeah, really try.
That's going to be difficult as I page through my... What does effluvia mean? That's the word that came to my mind. I don't think...
I think it has to do with fluids in that you're clearing your throat from, bodily fluids.
Effluvia? Really?
I don't know. I'll look it up. How would you spell that?
Effluvia. EFFLUVIA. Oh? It is an unpleasant or harmful odor.
An unpleasant smell or exhalation as a gaseous waste or decaying matter.
All right, okay, effluvium. No, so that was not the right word, but that's the word that came into my head. I don't think I've ever uttered it. It reminds me of, I had a friend way back in the day when I lived in Madison, Wisconsin, he was nuts, wondrous nuts. He once had the intention of kidnapping Rosemary Kennedy, one of the Kennedy children, the one who was
in the mental hospital.
In the mental hospital in Wisconsin. It was a mental hospital he knew. He was going to spirit her away. And I remember us telling him, I don't think that's a very good idea. And then, but he was brilliant, but nuts. Do you remember the comet Cahutek?
Yeah.
There was a comet. Yeah.
Oh, I remember this guy.
When it was coming, yeah. And when the comet Cahutek was coming, there was all this like, he started selling tickets. Like you could get on it. I forget exactly. His name was Eddie Ben Elson. But why did I say this? Oh, he had a fake, he was a lawyer, but he had a fake, he had a card that said that the name of his legal firm was Flotsam, Jetsam, Waifs, and Strays. I mean, those 4 words have stuck in my head for so long because it's such a wonderful Flotsam, Jetsam, Waifs, and Strays. I love it. Maybe Flotsam more than effluvia would have done. I don't know.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, Roger sent us something wonderful. Who said it? Homer Simpson or George Bush? Well, I don't know. So how are we? It doesn't say here who said it. Well, I know who said that. I know how hard it is for you to put food on your family.
That's got to be Bush.
That was Bush. I believe that children are our future, unless we stop them now. That's Homer.
That's got to be Bush.
No, that's Homer.
Oh.
Gotta be. It takes 2 to lie, 1 to lie and 1 to listen. Bush. No?
I have no idea.
Too many Okay, so No, I think that is. It's Bush. You teach a child to read, and he or she will be able to pass a literacy test.
That's Homer Simpson.
No, that's Bush. That's so funny. It's got to be Bush. Families is where our nation finds hope, where wings take dream. What? Are they all? I don't know.
Well, that one is, because we've heard it before.
Yeah,
but that one,
okay,
they just mix. Yeah.
They misunderestimated me.
Right. That's definitely Bush.
Just because I don't care doesn't mean I don't understand. That sounds like Homer, right?
Yeah.
The reason we have elected officials is so we don't have to think all the time. That's Homer. One of the great things about books is sometimes they have some fantastic pictures. Either. I know the human being and fish can coexist peacefully. Oh my God. Never say anything unless you're sure everyone feels exactly the same way you do. I don't know. One of them, so who? Oh, Jesus. The fact that we don't know. And Josh sent a video of the OBGYN quote, which I can't play right now, but so there, we'll try to explain some context for that one. My God. Okay, so there was a troubling piece on the front page of the New York. You know, we're not talking about the debt limit.
No. No, we are. Well, you know, what's there to say?
What are we supposed to do? Yeah.
Again, I mean, you know, no, we're being held hostage as usual.
Yeah.
It's their modus operandi. We're just being held hostage. And what do they want to take away? Veterans benefits. What do they want to take away? You know, money that supports children and mothers. Yeah. I mean, you know, this is the Republican Party. Who do they want to give it to?
So I woke up the other day, and the middle finger of my right hand
was stuck up.
No, it wouldn't bend. It hurt like hell. And I thought, oh my God, this must be arthritis. Is this what arthritis is like?
So it was. It was stuck up.
Wait. No, the pain. No, it wasn't. It wouldn't. So by the end of the day, I finally really sort of looked at it. It was so swollen. It was like twice the size of my other fingers.
So you couldn't bend it, right?
Well, I kept trying to bend it, but then I decided, how would it just be that one finger? I think I decided it was a spider bite.
Well, it was some sort of a bite, absolutely.
Do you think?
Oh, of course.
Not arthritis. Okay, because the one time it showed any reaction is I put some Benadryl cream on it, and it seems to have, it's still huge, but it's nowhere near as huge, and it's not as red. Do you think a spider just bit that one? I don't like the thought of going to bed and that there's spiders crawling on me.
Well, something bit you. I don't know whether it was a spider, but yeah, something bit you. And
I mean, that's an important finger. That is my giving people the finger.
Yeah, that's right. But that means you can go to the doctor and say, look, what happened?
Well, I was thinking, is this something you go to a doctor about?
No, not if Bennett, you got your answer. You might want to actually ingest a couple of Benadryls.
No, I think I'm just going to let it go down of its own accord.
Well, try soaking in Epsom salts.
I don't know. I'm just glad I don't think it's arthritis. But gee, you think, it was a different kind of pain. It really was. So it's a poisonous spider in my bed.
No, it's just a little, could be just a little teeny spider in your bed. It could be something that isn't even that you shouldn't even react to, but you were reactive to. You know?
Dear God. Okay, I'm sorry. Apropos of nothing. It's just that I happen my
for somebody that's
on my face.
I know, but for somebody that's really, I mean, in her medical history has gone through some pretty scary stuff. I do not think you should be undone by a swollen middle finger.
My middle finger. It is my expressive finger.
I just call my body the land of the traveling pain, and I'm always happy when it decides to leave where it's been bothering me and go to a new place where I, which it always does.
Well, I thought, when I was lying there in bed yesterday thinking, God, what happened? What happened? At first I thought it was all three fingers. There was three fingers involved. I couldn't tell. I couldn't move anything. I thought, I was reminded of what our brother said about, growing old, about how when you wake up and you gain consciousness in the morning, and the first thing you do is sort of quietly assess what you've managed to injure in your sleep. What has befallen you while sleeping?
If both your legs will actually hold you up when you stumble to the bathroom.
Well, that's an issue that's very near and dear to my heart. Yeah. Jeez. Okay. So this is my effort, Susan, to avoid what I was going to talk about, which was on the front page of the New York Times today, which is more distressing than my middle finger. But I still have 2.5 minutes here.
Okay, so we got it. So what?
So what? We do have to do it? Okay.
No.
No, let's do it. Because again, it's we were talking about Republicans and, they play the long game and it works for them. We don't play the long game. And the other thing that they're gunning for, and we know this is not, it's not, this just in. Republicans are working mightily to make it very difficult for people they don't want to vote. We know.
Well, yeah, we broached this topic. Yes, namely,
here's the thing. I have a quote here from one of the operatives involved in it, and this person said that they are shifting their strategy. We now call it radical incrementalism, a step-by-step approach intended to be more... this is not his. Radical incrementalism. The reporter defines that as a step-by-step approach intended to be more politically palatable than the broad legislation that provoked widespread protests in 2021. So when they were just blatant about what they were trying to do, we did rise up. They then realized, okay, we need to be quieter about this. And so they've engaged in what is called radical incrementalism. And what the article says is these Republican legislatures are still at it. They are passing bills, but they're little things like new limits on voting by mail in Ohio, a ban on ballot drop boxes in Arkansas, shortening of early voting in Wyoming. And quietly behind all of this is a network called the Election Integrity Network. And it is funded by billionaires. Billionaires. I got names here. They're names you see. They're the ones who do it. And they are drafting legislation, sending it off to their, all these Republican-held legislatures. The woman who's the head of this, and know her name, her name might sound familiar, Cleta Mitchell.
Yep.
And the reason she sounds familiar is she played a central role in Trump's effort to overturn the election. And now she's leading the Election Integrity Network,
which, as usual, is named like the right to work legislation.
Exactly. To me, it's the opposite.
It's the exact opposite.
Opposite. Well, it's like I've always said, when Republicans are in the executive, control the executive, all of the names of like occupational safety and hazard administration, environmental protection, none of those names make any sense anymore because they only appoint people who are intending to do the exact opposite.
Well, that's what Trump did. That he put people in charge whose job was to destroy their agency. And it's what that
not
job.
Just Trump. I think Republicans always have, Susan.
And that's what the judge's ruling did in Texas. It was to try and basically totally undermine the FDA. So, all right. Well, we got their number, but unfortunately, there's millions upon millions upon millions of Americans who don't pay attention. That's all. They just don't pay attention.
Well, fine. They'll skip happily into fascism.
Yep.
All right, you guys, that's it. We did it. We're done.
Merrily we roll along. Okay, which is what I'm doing.
You're heading off to Green Bay?
I am. I survived a weekend, and I am back to Green Bay.
You survived a weekend in Chicago. You're back to Green Bay.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Talk soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. And you guys, God help us all. I promise tomorrow or Thursday, to look at the local election and I don't know. Want to know how I'm voting? What difference does it make? It's just some of these things really important. And man, Weinstein, by the way, has come out with some ugly ads. He's scared of Sarah Inamorado. Oh boy. And these ads are dripping in like red because he's trying to tell people she's a commie. God. Ugh. Air pollution, just another form of air pollution. You have a good day. Give it a shot. What I'm going to do. Bye.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.